Hello and welcome, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Ian, and this series of videos follows me as I take my Royal Enfield Himalayan motorcycle to Bulgaria and back. This episode's a little different, as I'm not actually doing much riding. The riding you will see is from the way down, and is really just something to stop your eyes glazing over whilst I whitter you to death. Anyhow, instead of riding, my friends Val and Ron are showing me around bits of Bulgaria near where they live. Do come along, as some of it's really quite beautiful and definitely very interesting and definitely very historic. The first two stops on my whistle-stop tour of northeastern Bulgaria are limestone caves. Caves that would have been used for religious purposes. These were from the Thraco-Roman period. Now, I'm going to open my mouth and show my ignorance. Romans I know about and understand, but who were these Thracians? They were Indo-European speaking people who inhabited mainly southeastern Europe. In modern day terms, that would be Bulgaria, Romania, North Macedonia, northern Greece, European Turkey, as well as western Anatolia. The first mention of Thracians was in the second song of Homer's Iliad, suggesting the Thracians were allied to the Trojans in the 12th century BC. They were organised as early as the 5th century BC. Indeed, in the 6th century BC, Xenophon, a Greek poet, described the Thracians as having red hair and blue eyes. According to Greek and Roman histories, the Thracians were uncivilized and disunited until early in the 5th century BC. Thracians continued as a nation until they became a Roman province of Thracia in the 1st century AD. Despite being characterized as warlike and barbarians by both the Romans and the Greeks, their culture was reportedly noted for its sophisticated poetry and music. Having said that, contemporary documents describe the Thracians as warlike, ferocious, bloodthirsty and barbarian, also saying they're untrustworthy and would break pacts of truce with trickery, noting that they considered husbandry unworthy and knew no source of gain other than war or theft. A notable Thracian was Spartacus, who led the slave uprising in southern Italy in 73 to 71 BC. The first of these troglodyte sanctuaries is near Strelkovo. Apparently a system of caves was used to perform religious ceremonies and sacrifices, quite possibly human sacrifices. Nowadays the caves are freely accessible, if in a slightly scary way. The assorted iron ladders and platforms to do so are occasionally a little more mobile than is comfortable. However, when you're up there the views are great. The second troglodyte sanctuary is near Alfatar, the village of Kutlovista. Again, this is freely accessible, albeit with slightly better ladders. The next stop on my Cook's tour was Tervel. This is a town with, in 2009, a population of 6,667 people. The Ottoman Turkish name for this town was Kurtbunar, or Well of the Wolves. It was first mentioned in an Ottoman register of taxes in 1673, although prior to that it was inhabited by the Thracian Gatay tribe, then the Slavs, then the Bulgars. In 1878 it became part of the newly liberated Principality of Bulgaria. Between 1913 and 1940 it was part of Romania. It was made a town in 1960. The modern name honours Khan Tervel, an 8th century ruler of Bulgaria. He played an important part in defeating the Arabs in the siege of Constantinople from 717 to 718, and prior to that helped Emperor Justinian II, who had been exiled, to regain control of the Byzantine Empire. We then went to Varna, a Black Sea resort. This is the third largest city in Bulgaria and has a vibe similar to some of the resort cities on the Mediterranean coast of France. Also, I felt. It's home to approximately 330,000 souls and has a huge amount of history. Unfortunately, when we were there, so was a huge rain cloud, which very effectively discouraged sightseeing. We took shelter in a branch of Starbucks, which probably says communism is dead more effectively than most things. And when, after an hour or so, the rain hadn't abated, we gave up on Varna. One to go back for later, because it did look really interesting. I did manage a personal quest that pleased me lots. If you've watched earlier episodes, you may remember my clothing malfunction, leading to my boots filling up with water when it rained. I solved it, called into a branch of Decathlon and bought some walking boot gaiters. Hopefully now I'll have dry feet. The last visit was to Kaliakra Peninsula. This peninsula has been occupied by many races, beginning with our old friends the Thracians in the 4th century BC. Currently the site has a lighthouse, the ruins of a medieval fortress, Roman ruins, Christian ruins, a restaurant and 2 curious statues. The first represents the 40 Bulgarian girls who preferred to tie their hair together and jump into the Black Sea and drown, rather than face the Ottomans and their privations. The other is to Admiral Fyodor Usakov, who repeatedly defeated larger Turkish armada to help bring the Russo-Turkish War of 1787 to 1792 to an end. Well, that's about it for this episode. In the next episode, I'll be starting my way back. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a like and click subscribe. Even hit the bell icon and then you'll be notified when I make another video. Thanks again for watching. See you later.